Welcome to the Prolific Pulse Poetry Podcast. This is your host, Lisa Tomei. I am so happy today to welcome Walter Geeding, and he is from Missouri, which I'm very familiar with because I used to live in the Iliamo area, which is Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, where they all merged together. And so this is a very lovely part of the country that I have hold near and dear to my heart, especially many visits to Branson and the Lake of the Ozark area. So I feel like I'm gone back home from North Carolina to Missouri now. So
Excellent.
welcome, welcome. And so tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background because I find it to be very colorful.
Which part of my background do you want me to start at?
Well, how far back you want to go?
Okay, I was born in Washington, D.C. My father was an FBI agent, and I came from Virginia home to Missouri. All my people are from McDonald County, which is the very southwestern county in Missouri. And I've lived here ever since. I bought my cabin on the river, and I named it Solitaire after I grew up, which is the name of my writing establishment now. Uh, in between that time, I was a non-traditional student, went to college, went to law school, graduated law school when I was 45, went into prosecution, prosecuted for 8 years, went into private practice, practiced private practice for 18 years, got tired of the heartache and the stress and the horrors of law, and thought I needed a softer life and something that I graduated with a degree in English anyway, my bachelor's in English, and the spoken and written word has always been my love. So I went into what I've always wanted to do, and I write now full time.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that's interesting, your background to me and law actually and writing do really go hand in hand because when you are, on the defense or prosecution, whichever end you're on, you have to be able to use the gift of words.
You absolutely do.
So that
You've got to be
background,
analytical, and you've got to be able to express yourself.
absolutely. So I could see that really is a nice blend to be able to have that talent in both areas. So now you're working full time as a writer. And how many years have you been doing that?
Writing, my mother said I wrote my first poem when I was 7. She said it was dark, and I always figured, how dark can a 7-year-old be? I've got a full volume of poetry out there, which is scraps of paper that I wrote my entire life. And when I started collecting them all together, I found that I had, a full volume, hundreds of them. And I published them. It's called Pictures of Life. But so technically, I've been writing my entire life. I
Oh,
wrote my first novel when, I think I finished it in 2016. And
okay.
that's a trilogy, and it's been published. And now I'm on my fourth volume of my second series called Endless Times.
Okay. And what kind of a theme does your novel go by?
I'm the first one, Colony. I also raise bees for a hobby, and the first trilogy, my hypothesis is what happens to the world when the bees disappear. Because I had a couple hives disappear. Well, if you're into bees at all, you know that they pollinate well over a third of Earth's crops,
Hmm.
and up to 90% of the wild crops. Well, the Earth is going to implode. We as a breadbasket won't feed the world anymore, and the starving people will come after the people without. Eventually, the world will die.
Hmm.
And that's what the 3 books are about. And
Wow.
creationism figures in a big part of it. And then it goes into science fiction, so which is my love. I love science fiction.
Yes, me too. That sounds very interesting. I used to work for a beekeeping company, and so I learned a little bit about bees and found it fascinating. So,
They are fascinating. If you've ever watched them, the workers will do a little dance in the front of the hive, and two of them will be going, oh, there's food over here, and two of them will be going, well, there's pollen over there, and the queen's going 10,000 there and 8,000 there, and the little boogers do it. It's just it's fascinating.
Do you still have bees?
I do.
Well, great.
I harvested 13 gallon last year.
Wow.
Yeah. So my wife and I eat honey exclusively. We try to eat no sugar now. With the holidays just passed, we do eat some sugar, but we're getting back away from it.
Yeah. Holidays are always a time to forgive yourself afterward and get back to normal again.
Correct.
So, yeah. So I am going to share my screen and show your website here. 1 second. Here we go. You have a beautiful website.
Thank you. It took a little bit of work putting that together. What you're looking at, those bluffs, I have a cabin on a river down here called Elk River, and those are the bluffs right up above my cabin.
Oh, okay. That's a gorgeous looking area. And
of course, that's me sitting in Waffle Hut drinking a cup of coffee.
Yeah. The Waffle House, that's a big thing around here. And I see you're on social media on Facebook and Instagram. And what is that symbol in the middle? I'm going to claim ignorance.
TikTok.
TikTok. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've not gotten into the TikTok bite yet.
It's a lot geared for young people. It's a crazy engine.
It's kind of like a very hyper version of everything else.
Yeah. This is the pictures of life are my, what I call rhyming mind pictures. God gave me the gift to take a scrap of word or anything, and if I write it down at any point in my life, I can look at that word and come up with the rhymes and remember what I wrote about. The upper picture is my grandpa and me. That's Walter Raymond Asher and Walter Stephen Geeding. The second picture on the left is my father, Orrin Geeding, and my son, Walter Eric Geeding. The third picture on the bottom right is me, Grandpa Walter Stephen Geeding, and my grandson, Walter Grant Geeding.
Oh,
the pictures of life, the circle always turns.
It sure does. It sure does. And these are some of your other books. And a dedication to Christmas. Wow.
This is over the last 20 to 25 years, I wrote a traditional Christmas poem for my family. And when we gather around the table, I would read our Christmas poems. And when I was collecting all my scraps, I came up with all these Christmas poems. So I put it together in a little Christmas volume.
Nice. I like that. And when I click to buy now, I notice it takes me to Amazon. So
right.
You're on Amazon. So great.
Or Kindle.
Kindle. Okay. And I also see that you have a blog on here.
I do. Yeah. I write a blog and I do a poem with my blog every week.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm trying to do a poem a day for the new year and do some more submitting than I have in the past. All right. Well, speaking of poetry, how about you share with us your beautiful words?
Sure. What do you want me to start somewhere?
You just jump in wherever you wish.
All right. I'm going to start out with Moonblind.
Okay.
A little bit of background on Moonblind. I live out in the country. I mean, very rural. And I always take a walk and commune with God before daylight with my dogs. Have no close neighbors, and it's a country road. And I feel that's as close as I ever feel to God at that point. It's very personal. And I was walking along one day, and I looked up in there, the west, and the moon was starting to set, and it was so bright I had to shade my eyes. And this is Moonblind.
Okay.
Walking directly into the light, shading my eyes because moon is so bright. All in all, such a beautiful sight. At 6 a.m, I'm moonblind. Road paved with brilliance, scan it or see. Warm in the thought, just dogs, God and me. Strolling at dawn in the land of the free. Such a fine place to become moonblind. Prayers are all done, turn around at the post. Light in the east signals wake up to most. With folks still in bed, safe, warm as toast, so few have the chance to go moonblind.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. I really like the the short, simple of your poem, but yet you really are concise with your verb, with your words. You really have a tight poem there, and I really like that. We can
Thank you.
say so much in so few words. That's really beautiful.
And you want me to carry on?
I would love for you to carry on.
All right. This next one is called Carry Your Title. And I thought about my life and the tough times and the good times that I've been through. And, it seems like sometimes life is a whole lot of hard times strung together with little pieces of good times. But in the end, you're almost responsible for who you are and what you are. And, I've always said when people are talking to me, if you dig a ditch or if you're the president, do you dig a good ditch? Are you a good president? That's your title. And you're born into life naked. You leave naked. The only thing you take with you is your word. And, are you courageous enough to step out? Do you work for the other guy? Regardless, do you do good work? Your title. And this is how you carry your title. Labeled for jobs or positions had, lauded for good, libeled for bad, branded for happy from those who are sad. Deep down inside, you carry your title. Go on your own or work for the man. Beat your own drum or march with a band. Try hard for folks or do least that you can. From the hearts where you carry your title. Come into this world with naught but your word, envied, made fun of from deeds done or heard. Burdened by life or mind free as a bird. In the end's where you carry your title.
Amen to that. So true. I wonder if we were to sit down and ask people what their title is, what would
It would
they
be
say?
it'd be curious, and you're right. I would love to do that.
Absolutely.
Some people, I find it sad that a lot of people go through life and they really don't have any end goal in sight. And our young people today are so lost. We always had the American dream to look forward to, and the American dream's slipping away. It's sad. My kids are still traditional family. They're married, and they're still married to each other, and they're doing good. And it's wonderful, but the lifestyle is slipping away, and America needs to grab onto that and hold on to it to stay America.
Yeah. It's changed a lot for sure.
It has.
I'm still kind of the old school person, and I try to keep up with what's going on. But
Try growing up the son of an FBI agent. I was really true. My dad wanted to kill me part of the time. I had to leave for a few years, but
my father was military, so I'm kind of
you
had to toe the line too.
Yeah. All right, I've got another one.
All right.
This was when I was prosecuting attorney. As a prosecutor, I was a non-traditional student. And like I said, I graduated from law school when I was 44, 45. And as a prosecutor, you deal with the worst 10% of people 90% of the time. And your brain warps. Eventually, you're thinking everyone's guilty, and they're not. There's always two sides to a coin. And policemen, you have no friends as a prosecuting attorney. The policemen are all conviction oriented, and they want a conviction. And the people are mad at you because you're prosecuting them at all. So you never have anybody that's ever satisfied. After many years as an elected prosecutor, I became a private attorney. And long ago in another life, when I had a lot of hair, I had a ponytail. Now I have a little ponytail. But when I became a private attorney, I said, when I was young, I had long hair and I didn't have anything to prove. Didn't care to prove anything. And now after being a prosecuting attorney, I've proved everything to myself. I don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore. I know who I am and what I am. And I became free, a load lifted off my body and my mind, and life became softer, where prosecution aged me. Now, as a private attorney, and now I've went into writing, but I turned down thousands and thousands of dollars for cases I didn't like. Absolutely, if there was a sex crime case, it didn't walk in my door. So I took what I believed in, no more being what I personally hated. And I just realized that the circle started turning. I was becoming me again. So I wrote this poem called "I Was Older Then" as prosecutor. Let my hair grow out, or what's still left. I'm sure some see me and think it's sin, for I shaved close as prosecutor. Lord knows I was so much older then. A ponytail wear I now to court. In younger days, just didn't dare. Though I had ponytail long ago, back in the times when there was more hair. Life was so much sweeter to me. More time to dodge, grip, grime and din. Work long hours in filth and violence. God, I was so much older then.
I like that. It's amazing how much we grow and change and come into ourselves in life if we're fortunate enough to have the length of life to come to that realization. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Now, you have a name for your where you live called Solitaire. Now, tell me about
Solitaire.
that. How you came up with that?
Solitaire is a cabin on Elk River. And I was down there, and it was funny. I bought this place, and I needed a place to get away and become sane. And I thought, this is, and I'd go down there and all my worries would fall away from me. And I've had this place for 40 years now. And I thought, this is truly my diamond in the rough. This is Solitaire. And to this day, I go down there anytime, and it heals me.
Mhm.
It's a catharsis for all the problems that I have in the world. And
Nice.
I actually wrote a poem for Solitaire, and if I can remember it, I'll even recite that one for you, if you got time.
I've got time.
Let's see. Born in the city to a lawman, brought home by God's grace, raised in the country owned by no man, of the city there is no trace. 4 wives, 4 kids, some broken hearts. You learn all that you can. My heart is in the country. I am a riverman. It's peaceful here and quiet. That's when the river talks. Birds chime in, leaves brush time on solitary walks. I work up in the town now, return whenever I can. Solitaire is my heart's delight. I am a riverman. My theme.
I like that. I like that a lot. Having lived
So I
in the
named
Mississippi
my,
River, yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. So, is there anything that I haven't asked you that you would like to share?
I have one more thought that I put down about 2 months ago
Mhm.
on one of my blogs, and I'd like to share it with you if you've got a few minutes.
Absolutely.
This is called Women Carry the Weight.
Okay.
And I'm going to read this short blog to you, and then I'll read the poem that goes with it.
All right.
This came out of the blue as I walked just before daylight the other morning. Have you ever thought how much a woman does in a relationship? Nowadays, it's even worse. Most of the time, it's a double job family situation. Add kids to the mix. Who does most of the homemaking? Come on, be honest, it's the woman. This is for you unsung workers doing 2 jobs, trying to stay on top of it all and be amazing. Thank you. This is Women Carry the Weight. Into my thoughts through fast clearing grayness, while east dawn chases dark west. Night lies in state. To generations of men, we're bosses. Home pressure, no way. Women carry weight. Children come, men work, no time for home stress. Watch kids cook meals, but be always gold plate. Payload crushing, strain held in, you smile. Saddled, sometimes helpless, hard to think straight. Inspire, move forward, you're of consequence. Then, woman love me, don't mind mental state. Laden means little, I'm paying the bills. Life sits on you. Woman carries the weight. Reality, women of great moment, important. You're not made to subjugate. The clout within brings infinite strength. Balancing act, hard to articulate. Man who does not notice significance fails ounce for ounce in her goal to equate. Loses his credit to one keeping count. Honor, best friend. Women carry the weight.
Wonderful. What a wonderful tribute. It's really beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming on here today. It's been very enjoyable. Feel free to come back anytime.
I would love to. Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed this.
Thank you. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your day, okay?
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.